Hello everybody, it's Cape Rugby TV time. It's Wednesday night and we talk to you about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Nice to have you along. We've got a jam-packed show tonight. And as we said before, who would imagine that in a season where there's very little rugby, that we keep talking rugby? Just goes to show how active the clubs are. Let me introduce you to my panel. In fact, let me just... before I get to the panel, big thanks to Hisense on board with Cape Rugby TV as our technical partner. Score Energy Drinks. Well, you can see, of course, see Score on my jersey here. And don't forget, Score on board with Western Province Rugby. They were the sponsor to the Busy Bees tournament. And they are, of course, the sponsor to the Western Province Club Rugby Sevens. We'll give you an opportunity to win yourself a case of Score Energy Drinks a little bit later during the course of the show. Big thanks to Dulux Maitland at number 30 Coburg Road. And also the various stores that they've got. Look after all your paint specs, color tone, your timber treatment specialists on board with Cape Rugby TV, and of course, SaveSASport.com. Remember, you can use that coupon code Cape Rugby TV and get yourself the discount on all the apparel. Let me introduce you now to our panel this evening, Lyndon Julius.
Hi, good evening, JP. Good evening to all the viewers out there.
Jerome Parvater.
Hi, JP. It's true what you say. I mean, Saturday you could watch club rugby the whole day. On Mondays you can watch rugby in Cape Town. So rugby just goes on.
Yeah, we were talking about it now during the course of during the break, that basically December, January, February, March, April and May, there was no rugby. There is no formal rugby, but the clubs continue to do their own thing, and we've been talking on a TV show about rugby for 6 months.
Yeah,
it's quite incredible.
And at some point, at some shows also, you don't even get to all of it. You can't get to every game and every match, and you would have thought, when the moratorium came out, that what are we going to do in 3 weeks or 4 weeks time? And look, now we're actually enjoying this period of no official club rugby. Obviously, the club rugby we want to see the actual league commence, but it sort of feels like just like a very nice break, if you want to call it.
No, I don't know. It kind of goes to show for me that there's kind of like a new breed of administrator out there, and that the clubs are going about things on their own steam and getting things done, regardless of administration. They're doing it at club level and saying, we're going to play. We don't worry. We're getting and finding a game. I think it's been great.
And the grass is getting greener.
And the grass is getting greener. We've had a little bit of rain, so they do say the grass is greener on the other side. The other side lately has been in the Boerland and the West Coast and the Overberg region, so it's been a lot of fun. But this weekend we were closer to home, because there are still a few fields in Cape Town where you are allowed to play, private fields. One of those fields, of course, the police rugby grounds at Pinelands. So we went out there, and of course a number of the local clubs took advantage of that space in the form of NTK and SK Warmers. They went to play in the Police Rugby Day, and we're of course also joined by Atlantis. So we've got some fantastic games coming up for you during the course of the show. Loads of interviews with the Atlantis, Police and NTK and SK Warmers captains and coaches. And we'll also speak to Desi Rechner. She's the director of the Pink Ladies organization. And of course you might know that the Police Day was also played to support the missing children's unit at the police organization. And tell more about that from the Police Rugby Football Club will be the vice chairperson Francois Venter and Petrus Smart, the chairman of Police Rugby. Right, but before we do our interviews, let's get the ball rolling, so to speak. Our first game that we took a look at was Atlantis against NTK's second side. welcome back, everybody. Yeah, fantastic game there. Of course, Atlantis first team against NTK second team. The final score there, 41-0 to NTK second side against Atlantis. Great game, though. Love the fact that they were playing. They've been around for quite a while, have Atlantis. James Poseidon, who's, of course, the chairperson there. Been around since 1977. I believe. We'll be speaking to them in a second or so. Just by the way, folks, there were a number of other games as well on the day. We, of course, couldn't cover every single game, but we brought you as much as possible. Tigerberg's under 20 side was also there, playing from about 8:30 in the morning. Nice game there, Lennon. Atlantis, NTK. Of course, it was NTK's second side, but I mean, NTK's a first team side in Super League A in Western Province. You've got to kind of balance it out.
Yeah, and Atlantis have always been playing, sort of just on that border between, on the verge of breaking into Super C over the last couple of years. They've been around for quite a while. The game was a very exciting game.
Yeah.
We could obviously see that the field's condition is getting better. And then the players are offering a lot of running rugby, so a lot of props and a lot of the forwards, giving the ball sort of air as we know it.
Yeah.
Spotting gaps, and that's good.
Jerome, at the moment, it looks like the league is going to start around the 1st of June. We've got some of these friendlies happening. Do you think that it's I mean, if we're looking at that now, it's about 7 weeks away. Do you think that playing a friendly now is enough to keep as a kind of a practice, a memory and momentum, or do you think that these friendlies now will be forgotten come the first game?
No. I think it's good that the guys keep on playing.
Yeah.
It's good for the coaches also to see the depth. Especially if you look at NNK last year, they struggled a bit with the depth. But what I see in the second team now, playing against Atlantis, they look like the coach obviously recruited well, because that was their problem last year. So I mean, for their second team to beat Atlantis by that much, it looked good. So it is good, and it's good for guys to see who they have. And it's also good to keep guys busy. I mean, a lot of clubs. It looks to me, JP, now that there were no rugby, guys were doing more.
Yeah.
So teams were playing more.
No, that was my
good.
point earlier on. Is that like we're seeing more rugby?
Yeah.
We're certainly hearing more about it. I mean, right, folks. So we managed to speak there to the Atlantis coach Fabian Brandt.
Ons het nog wel verloren, maar ons het geleerd de game uit. Ons het speelt in een grotere club met meer structuur. En onze focus was relatief goed voor de dag. En wat ik kan wegnemen de game uit, dat ons moet definitief werken als focus. Maar als gevolg van die waterrestricties kan ons niet recht oefenen. OTV om te oefenen. Ik zeg niet dat is een verschoning, maar dat het groot impact gaat per dag. Ja, baie van hulle werk met skofte, 7 skofte en baie van hulle kan nie oefen nie. Maar hulle kan nie kan oefenveld, dus elke tweede week kan hulle oefen. Oefenveld omtrent nou, omtrent kan net 12 ouens wat kan oefen. So ja, het is 'n groot impak. Wat ons doen is ons oefen nou tans op die atletiekveld. Waar ons werk aan ons hardloopfik en dan gaan ons saans naar die duine toe om hard te oefen, om een fik op een level te houden. Maar ik denk, ons nog ver van de liga en ik denk ons kan nog een verschil maken ieder jaar. In de liga, ons het laatste jaar in de tweede ronde, het was eerste geëindigd. So ik denk, ons zal het kan doen nog om net een beetje harder werken aan ons fouten en zo aan.
Fabian Brandt, of course, the head coach there at Atlantis, and nice to speak to the guys up on the West Coast a little bit, and we've been very grateful for their support over the last few weeks as the clubs have been looking to play their friendlies, and many teams have travelled up to the West Coast to go and play there. They've also played in the Boerland. One of the next games we took a look at was SK Warmers. That was their second team playing against Police first team. Of course, you've got to understand that these teams are playing in different leagues, hence the fact that we're playing second team against a first team. Folks, we'll take a look at that game right after the break. And just a reminder, coming up after the break, I'll give you an opportunity to win yourself a case of Score Energy Drinks. All right, you want to win yourself a case of Score Energy Drinks? 33090. Score Energy Drinks. A case could be in your hands by the end of the week. Just grab your mobile phone and send us a text. We'll tell you more about that after the break. As we mentioned earlier on, we were out at the Police rugby fields in Pinelands over the weekend. There were a number of games. Our next game was, of course, a Police first team up against SK Warmers second side. Welcome back, everybody. It's SK Warmers second side up against the Police first team. Police certainly have made some great strides in the last few years since they've come back into the ranks at Western Province Rugby. Jerome, let me throw it at you. We didn't see Police on the track 5-6 years ago. Now they're there.
Yeah, and I'm surprised to see they're actually looking good. I mean, they gave their second team a run. So yeah, it's good. It's good to see Police back, and I think in the past. That's why guys in the past, where if a guy breaking into a house, he couldn't run away from a police because they were playing rugby. So hopefully they're getting back to that.
Yeah. No, well, I like what you say. I'm very happy to see the Police guys in action. You know, I think that the Police outfit actually could be a very strong side if you think about how big the Police organisation is, because there's a little bit like having a university. I think the tricky part, though, is for, if I understand correctly, that you wouldn't necessarily travel from Macassar to Pinelands to come to practice. You might work in the police force in Macassar or in Stellenbosch or whatever. So you'll play at the club closest to you, even if you're in police. But police could have a very, very strong team.
They could. They never had a problem with transport in the police. Because I remember back in the days where Quentin Daniels, Russell Roux, Floxeliers, Johan Kapp, there were various guys, William Daniels. There were about 10 guys who played province, who were in the police, and they were at various stations. But then they had a car or a bus collect them at the stations and bring them to wherever we practice. So police has got everything. So
hold on, before you get into it, and I know where you're going. Because now I'm gonna break one of my own rules. Well, I'm not gonna break my rules. I'm gonna try and stick to one of my own rules. I'm still of the opinion that even if you belong to a certain organisation, you must play at the club where you live.
Yeah. I was thinking
so now it's a tricky scenario.
Exactly, because I mean, obviously, like you were saying, like, you know, if the police are fit hopefully the crime rate will inadvertently also drop. But I also think that we shouldn't be funding the police transport, you know. Guys at St. George's are taxpayers, and now we find that the team we are playing against potentially in a couple of years, we're paying for their transport, we're contributing towards the transport, and then they beat you on the day. So I think that
we never know. Maybe that guy's paid. I don't know.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just joking. But I think it's definitely good to see a club like or an organization like police, who has been a formidable force. I think the second organization that I would like to see, Defense Force, the army. Yeah, that was the next.
It's SANDF.
It's
Wehrmacht.
actually.
Like whenever we heard, like back when I grew up at Rugby Universals, and whenever you hear they spell Wehrmacht die Naweek, then you were like, hey, man, we're all gonna go to the field, and we're probably gonna get a good hiding. But if you won Wehrmacht on the day, it was like winning the league, and that was something. And I think Wehrmacht was a very solid.
Wehrmacht is another Wehrmacht. The Wehrmacht from 30 years ago was a whole different team. It was. Jerome, you were saying?
No, it's strange. On my way here now, Aubrey Noble phoned me. You know, he's in the Defense Force for his whole life. I think he's about 40 years now in the Defense Force. So he phoned me and he asked me to come and help them a bit. So they're also busy trying to get the defense rugby up. So it's good if.
And where is defense rugby active? Where are they fields? Wingfield?
I think Nine-side.
Weinberg?
I think it'll be Nine-side probably.
Yeah, it's still at
Nine-side.
The rugby is there. Yeah. And I mean they've got facilities at Silvermine. So
there's a number of different. Nine-side would of course be South African infantry. Right, folks, we managed to speak to the police head coach, Peter Williams. Incidentally, before we go to Peter Williams, the result there was a win for SK Warmer's second side, 27-14 against police first team. Let's speak now to their head coach, Peter Williams.
Ja, ek dink is 'n goeie geleentheid vir ons om weer terug te wees op die veld. We've been busy. We have played quite a few friendlies. This is our 5th game. Keeping the boys busy, organizing games outside of the Western Province. It's just the drought that is killing us, but we're thankful that it started to rain and hope to start the season as soon as possible. Look, what we're trying to create is, because last year we have started to put some process in place, how we going to conduct training and so forth. We have a nice condition session this year for the first 2 months, and I think we are going well. We're still trying out some combinations now due to the fact that we didn't start playing league now, but I think the process is going well, and we just trust the process and see that maybe that we can reap the benefits of the hard work that we put in during the pre-season and so on. Look, it's not difficult to get them at practice because there is a communication going out from the head offices, which is a call-up, so they get instructed if they're going to work, they get a chance to come and train and then go back to work. We hope that everything, because rugby is unpredictable, it all depends on the day on the field what happens, but we have high hopes and we believe that we can do some magic this year.
Welcome back, everybody. Of course, head coach Peter Williams there, just talking about police's successes and the fact that they have now got the ball rolling. Right, you want to win yourself a case of Score energy drinks? Then just SMS the word SCORE to 33090. 33090, and you can put yourself in the mix to win a case of Score energy drinks. Congratulations to last week's winner, Charlene Lots. Congratulations, Charlene. Charlene walks away, or at least Sherilyn walks away with a case of Score energy drinks. All right, folks, we're going to take an ad break, and when we come back from the break, we'll be taking a look at the match between SK Warmert and NTK. We've got first half and second half highlights coming up for you. Welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV, and use the hashtag WP Club Rugby in all of your social media tags. Right, we were, of course, out at the police rugby fields in Pinelands. A number of games were being played there. One of the teams, or at least two of the teams from Western Province, two of the teams that played last year in Super League A, so a lot more experience, SK Warmers and NTK. We managed to catch the first half and the second half. Let's take a look now at the first half highlights. Here we go, folks. First half highlights action there. We'll go to Lyndon Julius first. Lyndon, it looks like there's a nice cohesive SK Women's side there.
Yeah.
Looks like a lot of the guys that are playing for the team are guys from the local neighborhood.
Yeah, it's sort of like a bit of deja vu, all around, seeing that SK Warmers are going back to what people got to sort of fear them, the players from the book up. And I think these young players now, these players that you're seeing playing in the first team, are the youngsters that grew up on the side of the field when SK was a force. And I think SK is going back to that point where they're not just going to be a mid to bottom table team in the Super A. You can see the players are playing the Davids twins. They sort of the team is sort of the same, the makeup, and the coherency is there definitely. And I think that SK Home is going to be one heck of a side in a couple of seasons.
Jerome, talking about the rugby itself on the field, let's get your expert opinion on it.
Yeah, two big backup forwards doing the hard work so that the backs can run around, as we see. I must say that NNK, they're looking good this year. I mean, last year they struggled to get the team going, but they've got two solid sides now. So they dropped to Super B. So hopefully they look like they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And
looking at the score, and we'll give the score after the. Let's take a look at the second half. We can get more of your opinion there before you finalize it. It's like doing the exams. You tell you how to do in the first half. Let's take a look at the second half. We'll give you our final opinion on the game between. Of course, a friendly, but let's take a look anyway. Welcome back there. I love the fact that we're playing rugby. I mean, it feels to me as if it's, August 2017. It feels to me as if we're just about to get going with the league. The funny thing is, I've been feeling like that every week. Every week we're watching rugby, and I keep feeling like there's no difference whether there's a league or no league. We're playing rugby. All right, Jerome, now you can actually tell us your final opinion on the game. SK Warmers did walk away with a win there. You would expect them to. They're a first-team side. NTK is at least a Super League side, Super League A side. NTK is a Super League B side now. They had a bit of a rough patch. They showed why they were not supposed to be in Super League A. They went down. They got relegated. So, horses for courses. SK Women come out with a victory there, 34 points to 27. I suppose it's a fair reflection of the game. NTK still playing at Super League A level.
Yeah, definitely, JP. I was thinking of the previous year. They actually played against Helderberg and they stayed up in Super League A. But they've done, like I said, the coach he obviously did his homework of the past experience that they had. So they're looking good, yeah. And I must say, a guy that at this stage is really looking good is for SK Women's is Ramiz Osman. And
is he related to Nani? Nani Osman?
They're all related.
It's like the Parvatas. It's like the Parvatas.
Yes, the Parvatas.
It's like the Parvatas. The
Kibidos.
And the Kibidos. The Kibidos and the Parvatas. The Noble family. The Ruffle family.
The Ruffle family, yeah.
Can we get back to this?
Yes, get back to it. He doesn't like talking about the Parvatas.
We'll get to that later.
Because he knows I'm going to start talking about Koos.
So, but yeah, Ramiz, he's you know, you get questioned. Everybody asks you all the time why this guy's not in the province structure or whatever. But Ramiz, he's working at Old Mutual, and for the last 2 years I've been trying to get him in at least at Super Sport Challenge because I think he can play Currie Cup.
Well, we're going to let you guys work out your
So he was really the guy who helped SK a lot to keep the score going.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic, folks. We managed to speak to Peter Fritz. He's of course the captain at NTK.
Nee, die eerste helfte het ons soos hulle sê oor ons gehardloop. Halftyd coach het met ons 'n bietjie gepraat en tweede helfte het ons 'n groot gedeelte teruggekom om hulle oor hulle voete te kom. Sover ons is besig om mekaar te leer ken nog. Daar is nog jong spelers, soos ek laas keer gesê het. Maar ons is besig om by mekaar te kom en daar's nuwe gesigte elke week kom, 'n nuwe gesigte is wat hulle vir ons wil bewys dat hulle in die eerste span behoort. Ja nee, dit lyk goed. Ons het nommers en ons het diepte vir as daar beserings kom. So dis waar ek baie bly is oor dat hulle dag op vir oefeninge. Hulle is duiwel, hy lus. Ja, natuurlik. Ons nog baie om te leer, baie om te oefen op die velde. Ons is nog nie daar waar ons moet wees nie, maar SK Homers het vir ons 'n paar tips geleer om beter te wees op die veld.
NTK captain there, Peter Fritz, of course, just having a chat with us about how things are going at NTK. Nice and positive. Let's catch now up with NTK's coach Wessel Kriel. He's also been with on Cape Rugby TV just the other day, in fact, giving us a nice bit of chat. Let's see what Wessel has to say.
Die spectators sal obviously erken. Dit was 'n wedstryd van 2 helftes, maar dit was stunning rugby in die 2 helftes en dit is vir my belangrik. 'n Verloor is nooit lekker nie, maar ons weet waarna toe ons werk en dit is verblydend om te sien dat die goed waarna ons werk kan wel in plek val as ons kop hou. Ja, ek dink ons moet vir polisie dankie sê vir die dag wat hulle gereël het en dit is so, hardloop rugby is absoluut magnifiek. Wat ongelukkig die negatiewe daarvan is dat 'n mens dan 'n tendensie het om 'n bietjie te slek op die defense en defense wins games. So dis belangrik dat ons alhoewel ons kwaliteit hardloop rugby kan speel, beslis harder sal moet werk en die verdediging sal moet opskerp. Ek dink die groot probleem rondom die terugsit is om te probeer om die spelers committed te hou. Die oefengeriewe is nie na wense of wat dit moet wees nie, maar as 'n mens kan terugkyk en gaan sê dat jy het vandag in beide spanne het seker in 'n rigting van 140 spelers vandag rugby gespeel, wat ongelooflik is en dit sê vir my dat beide hierdie twee klubs iets reg doen om die manne te kan motiveer om die wonderlike spel te kan speel waarvoor almal van ons lief is.
Always nice speaking to Wessel Kriel, doing his hard yards there. I think it's really fantastic to see. We mentioned this before, fantastic to see how many administrators have been in the game for such a long time. And even if they do move around, it is still great to have their contribution to a Western Province club rugby. And it doesn't really matter at which club they are. Of course, we always promote the fact, though, that clubs, coaches, managers and players should be playing at the club closest to them. in their community environment. SK Warmers captain Ibrahim Davids joined us to tell us a little bit about what's happening at SK Warmers.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, a few weeks of preparation playing up in Boland, but today we actually played against a team that's in our league, in the Super League A, so we could really compare where we're at within the season and when the season progresses. Tough game. I thought actually we had them at the beginning, but it just shows that you can't make mistakes against a 1A team, and unfortunately we did that, but happy on the win nonetheless. It's still been an issue, but the important thing, like I said before, management, but now as well the buy-in of the players, they don't actually miss practice. I mean, today we actually fielded three teams, which means that even though they are not fields, guys are obviously getting a bit despondent, but yet we still have full practices every week, which allows us to field the three teams. So I mean, it's not the ideal prep, but yet again, there's buy-in of the players and buy-in of management to support the cause. We're a community club. We're based in the community, so majority of our guys are from the community. So it's not a thing of, these guys are going to come from outside the area to the practice. The guys are coming from the community and the guys that grew up together. So in fact, we're lucky as a club from Boekap to have that where, all the guys from the community, so the camaraderie is there already. And just building on it, that's what we're doing at the moment. This is the build-on experience for us.
Lyndon, there you have it. We're hearing the words again and again, community, community, community. The fantastic thing that I'm hearing now is that the captains of the teams are talking community, community. We used to have only the chairpersons, maybe the coach from time to time talking community, community. And now we're seeing the leadership in the clubs themselves, the captains themselves, saying we want local guys, we want to play real community sport. Listening to Ibrahim there, he's echoing exactly what you said.
Yeah, and I think it's very good to see that players like Ibrahim Davids from SK Warmers, a lot of kids look up to him. Him and his brother, they've been, as well as Ramiz, Nani Osman. These players have been at SK or have been playing for SK for a very long time. So you get all these youngsters looking up to them, and if a guy like him, if the youngsters hear him speak like that, then they were like, but I don't want to go anywhere else. So now your longevity of your club and the brand of rugby and the culture that you have within your club stays, It's not Cook sisters, it's Cook sisters, It stays there, so it remains a culture that you keep.
And what I like about that connection, Jerome, is that if you're the captain of that team, and going on to what Lyndon said now, if you're the captain of that team and you're sourcing players in your neighborhood, it's easy to walk down the road and bump into a kid in the shop and say, Kykie, kom speel rugby Saterdag, of kom jy na die practice toe? Because you're in the space. Like Lyndon said, he's looking up as a leader. Now the captain sees you on the pavement, or he sees you in the street, the local, says, what are you doing? No, I'm not doing anything. Yeah, when you come play rugby with us. There's that connection.
No, there is. I've normally on Sundays, I go visit Labib Levy in the Boekap because I have to get games that he's recording for me.
Yeah.
So I normally see him on Sundays in the Boekap, and then I see all these rugby guys there, and they're always together, and you always hear the stories, and Labib will tell you, like, if they know who's the guys trying to break in the community.
Well, I was about to say, about 6 months, about a year ago, my laptop got stolen in the Boekap area. Down the road in the city area. And I immediately I put it on Facebook, and immediately got a phone call from Labib. He says, he'll ask a paar van die mense hier.
So then normally the rugby guys are the guys sorting the guys out, and you see the youngsters in the street always running with a rugby ball, and you see the rugby players talking to the guys. So it's really good for that community, and they keep everything together there, and it's just rugby there.
Right, folks, and of course, as you know, NTK has had a bit of a coaching change, as has SK Warmers. Now, Wilbur Clark was coach last year at NNK and is now coaching at SK Warmers. Let's hear what Wilbur has to say.
Yeah, I think we had a good first half. To lead 21 or 29-8, you need to kill off a game. And we allowed NTK to come back in the second half. They had a good second half. We didn't put them under pressure, and crucial mistakes at crucial times, and we had to fight for the win at the end. So yeah, lots of positives to take from the game. but still lots of hard work left. Yeah, this was a good test. We played 3 Boland teams, and we had competitive games, but we couldn't really test ourselves again what we're gonna get in the league. So this was a good test. For us also, under difficult circumstances, we've been on a field last time, the 15th of Feb, so which is making it difficult because the guys are working hard. We're practicing in a parking area, which makes it difficult. You can see our contact is not up to standard. The collision is not up to standard, and we need to work on that, and hopefully Western Province will make a call about club rugby, and then we can get back into the field. Yeah, our main job now as coaching and executive is to keep the guys positive, and we've got next week we're playing Kuilsrivier River here, and then we go on a tour to Veldrift. Hopefully we will bond a bit and try and keep the guys positive, but it's lots of hard work, and we need to be creative as coaches to keep the guys at the field and get them to the field. So we've got off the field stuff that we're working on, and the players are buying in, and I really need to compliment the players for staying positive under difficult circumstances.
Wilbur Clark there, coaching at NTK, and at least at SK Warmers now, was previously coach at NK. Lyndon, Wilbur's got a world of experience. He's been around quite a number of clubs now. Also a lot of sports science experience. I think he helped you guys out at St. George's a little bit. And then, of course, he's done a lot of coaching. Yeah. What sort of level of experience? I mean, he's saying that he obviously hasn't got the tools available now. He can't run the guys on the field. He can't be doing contact sessions. How difficult is it for him now to get a bit of momentum going at SK?
I think it's very challenging for him in terms of the rugby side or the playing side of coaching. But I think what SK do have in him that is very, very beneficial, apart from, or barring the fact that despite Wilbur traveling or being at a few clubs, coaching at a few clubs, he's always been at a club where there's a strong sense of community. And I know we've heard this word over and over, it's sort of tiresome right now, but you can truly see in certain clubs and in certain players' demeanor when there is actually a community culture within the club. And I think Wilbur has also, he has sort of seeked advice from guys around, especially around Buka being a Muslim community, Islamic community. I think he's also sort of learned and educated himself on that beforehand to know that he doesn't overstep certain cultural boundaries and sort of get acquainted in certain ways of doing things, and also respecting that. And then I think that is why SK Warmers have such a beneficial sort of character in Wilbur. And I think it is very challenging for him because I know he's very technical on his coaching side of things, and I think it must be very challenging for him. He mentioned the 15th of Feb, the last time that they were on the field, and I think it did show.
Yeah, right, folks. If you want to buy your sports apparel, 20% off everything online, rugby boots, footwear, and apparel, then savesasport.com is the online site where you need to go to get a 20% discount off all of that you buy there, of your Puma, Mizuno, Canterbury, New Balance, and Asics products. Free delivery anywhere in South Africa above 750 Rand. So just use the coupon code CAPERUGBYTV. And you'll be able to get a 20% discount. Fantastic opportunity. SaveSasport.com. We'll take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we'll be taking a look at the Super Rugby information. And we'll also take a look at what's happening in Super Brew. And of course, congratulations to UWC, who went out and won the Varsity Shield over the weekend. We'll speak to Mr. Jerome Parvar to get the inside track about UW's performance on Monday night. Back in a sec. Folks, thanks, Jerome, Lyndon. Petra Smart is, of course, the chairperson at Police Rugby Club, as well as Francois Venter, the vice chairman. We managed to catch up with both of them as they give us their feeling on the game and what's happening at the club.
Ons is baie ingestel by polisie op dissipline. Jy weet, as ons nie dissipline kan handhaaf nie, dan kan ons ook nie die game speel nie. En wat dit vir ons belangrik maak is ons taak die jaar is om die gemeenskap daar buite te raak. Jy weet, as dit kom by fighting of crime, dan kan ons nie as polisie alleen staan nie. Ons het die gemeenskapshulp nodig. Dis hoekom ook die projek wat ons vandag aangepak het, gaan oor missing persons. Jy weet, my kind, jou kind kan môre daar buite gekidnap word en dit. En dan het ons nie hierdie bande wat ons vandag gebou het en uitgereik het na die gemeenskap om te sê help ons nie.
Ja, eerste plek, ek wil sê dat die event was baie suksesvol en veral vir die gees as die eerste keer wat ons die event hou en kyk die enorme mense wat hier was. Ek meen jy self gesien het en dan ook die sê mense die crowd van die spelers, hulle teenwoordigheid en dan ook die gemeenskap. En dan ook die dametjies van die Pink Ladies, die Missing Persons wat dit moontlik gemaak het om die kindertjies te profile. En ek weet dit is 'n reuse sukses en hierdeur wil as die event vir volgende jaar wil as dit vergroter. Dat is meer vir ander klubs wil ons motiveer om te sê kyk dit gaan nie net oor rugby hier op jou tuisveld nie. Dit gaan nie net op rugby om vir jouself te hou nie. Dit ek gister ook genoem het ons wil die rugby gees wil ons uitbrei en ons wil rugby wil ons bevorder.
Always great speaking to great sports administrators, and it looks like they are now Bobby's Rugby Football Club. But as you know, there was another reason that the event was taking place, and that was to support the missing persons unit of the police. And as part of that structure is the Pink Ladies Organisation. And we managed to speak there to the chairperson of the Pink Ladies Organisation.
Yes, we started in 2007. I'm Daisy Rechner, I'm the director of the Pink Ladies. We started with Sheldon Newman when she was butchered to death in 2007 in Hercules, Pretoria. We decided then that we're going to join the police and fight the fight against our children, our women and children. So we are partners of the police for 11 years, and what we do is a search and rescue with the police. They do the actual investigation, but we do as much assistance to the investigating officer. We go around and we do a project called My Little Fingers, whereby we year today to do that and to get all the little children fingerprinted and profiled. No databases are kept, and they put their own photos on and they take it home. If the child goes missing, then you can take that straight to the station and it'll quicken up the search instead of having to fill in that 15-page form. And we hope that that's going to speed up searches and we're going to get our children back far faster, you know, because they won't be waiting there to fill in that form. We do a lot of cases in the country. We do the whole of South Africa. So we have, yes, been with the police for a long time, and they've invited me here today to be with Kensington Police Station and their Rugby Day, and I thank them very much for that. We've enjoyed ourselves, and I think we've created a lot of awareness today.
Pink Ladies Organisation for Missing Persons, Desi Rechner, just talking to us there about the support that they have and the project that they have together with the police. It's a fantastic initiative from their side, and we're always happy to support any of these community initiatives that certainly make things a little bit safer in our communities. And I think tying in with the world of sport is a fantastic way to do that. Right, folks, there were a number of other results up over the weekend. Let's quickly take a look at your club rugby results, where the guys went to travel a little bit. Macassar went down to Durance, Proteas. Strand United 27-17 over Western Zebras. Franschhoek went down to St. George's 36-23. Safgol played against the Lorians, 24-22 win for them. And then, of course, NTK went down to SK Warmers. Atlantis and NTK, and then Police and SK Warmers. Wanderers played against Blakes. Blakes walking away with a 36-21 win against Wanderers. And then Wraithby playing against Universals, 48 points to 10. And then Kylemore 28-14 over Allendale, while Young Peoples played against Paarl Rangers, getting away with a win there of 22 points to 8. Some of the friendlies coming up this weekend. Durban will be travelling to Saldanha. Newtons, well, they're playing against Kylemore, so Kylemore got a bit of travelling to do. And then NTK travel to Westbank, and Franschhoek travel to Delicious. Remember, folks, if you have an opportunity, please let us know where your clubs are playing, and let us give us an opportunity to publicise those games and also find out where it is that you are. Jerome, let's just talk a little bit about UWC over the weekend. There was some, not over the weekend, at least it was on Monday. Massive opportunity. UWC now beating, I think, UWS on Monday. For UWs, it's been a long time coming. It's really like a huge accolade.
Yeah, it's very long, JP. I mean, you would know we've been there with Peter de Villiers trying, and Chester done well. Him, Lionel Langenhoven and Bola Conradi, they've done well. They went up before they even won the thing to the.
Is that guaranteed now? They're going up to the Varsity Cup?
No, they up before the finals. They knew they were up. And for these youngsters to keep that composure, I mean, they were already up in Varsity Cup, and to put up a performance like Monday.
So what's the difference? I mean, what made the difference at UWC now this year? Because I mean, it's always been like on the doorstep, and for the last, let's say, 6 years or so, everyone just assumed UWC was going to have a fantastic season, but they just couldn't get over the step, and this year they've made it.
Yeah, look, it's obviously it's Chester Williams' third year, and he said that he wants to take the team up. And I mean, last year they were almost there, but it wasn't promotion. So this year was promotion, and he said he's going to put all the effort in, and they've done well. And like I say, on Monday also, the way they were playing, they're really ready to play in the Varsity Cup. If I look at some of the teams and the tries that they were scoring, and the one thing that win rugby games is really the defense. And one thing that UWC can do, they can defend and they can attack, because this whole year they've been 2 tries and they score 8-10 tries per game.
Yeah.
So they've done something.
Well, it's working now,
and it's
and
working.
That's paid off. Going up to the Varsity Cup.
Yeah,
Lyndon, a couple of players from Western Province putting up their hands there. Certainly some familiar names popping up.
Yeah, I think Western Province definitely have now an extra organization, extra team added to their under 21. I know the coach here will definitely has definitely known and to recruit, or will recruit them there. I think we don't have to recruit for the next 3 years outside of our province. We've got 3 Varsity Cup teams now, the only province in the country that have that, with Marties and Ikes already there. I think UWC is going to add an amazing group of talent to our provincial setup.
Player that rocks?
My player that rocks is Tristan Leitz. He didn't win it though. But Adrian Parwater was the player that rocks on Monday, which is Jerome's brother, Melvin's son. I think it's a very good accolade for the Parwater family. He's been playing very, very good rugby. I mean, he's stealing balls. You can see he's getting some coaching over the braai on Sunday afternoons, or at home over the phone, over what. You can see he's had a bit of extra coaching on the side.
Definitely not going to speak to Jerome Parwater about that, because we're very strict here about corporate governance and neutrality and transparency.
Non-biased.
None of that kind of stuff, all right? But no, fantastic stuff. UWC, well done, and we see it all over social media at the moment. So it really is great stuff. Super Brew is also on fire at the moment, folks. It's a lot of fun. If you want to have a little bit of a dabble there, we love getting those predictions in. I must say my predictions aren't going 100%, but they're having a little bit of fun anyway. Let's take a look at our Cape Rugby TV pool that's currently running on Super Brew. Our top 10: Manasi Cut, Chris Lamac, Orion, Zbu 0123, Jorgon, Marvito, Chupi, WP, Salas, and Nila. Those are the names of our top 10 in our Cape Rugby TV Super Brew pool. You can still go and join there. We've got a couple. We'll just have 1,000 players on Super Brew as part of our pool there. We're going to wrap it up now. Lyndon, that's a wrap from Cape Rugby TV. Have yourself a fantastic rugby weekend, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, and it's always good to be on the show. Thank you, Jerome, and have a good weekend.
Jerome, any rugby plans for you this weekend?
Yeah, we'll see, JP. Where I'm going to this weekend. I'll decide on the day where to go, so I'll decide on Saturday.
All right, there we go, folks. Remember, put it on Facebook. Let us know where you are. Just go to our Facebook page. We desperately need you to tell us what's happening at your field, at your club, in your community, and we will keep sharing it here. That way you can reach a couple 100,000 people as opposed to a couple of 100 people in your local social media platform. Why not add TV into that mix? That's a wrap for me here, JP Nordia, your Cape Rugby TV host. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. A fantastic rugby weekend. Bye-bye.